One painful experience for women is being with a man who's unable to be fully present. If you have experienced this, you know that it hurts. You don't feel fully worthy. You feel like there is something wrong with you. I'm talking about a man who is distracted, and you can tell he is not in the moment with you. He is not fully present with you and with your energy. He's not fully taking you in. He's somewhere else. He's in his head. He's distracted. He's on his phone. He's thinking about what he needs to get done. And when you talk to him, you don't feel like you are fully with him. This is not how you should be relating with a man. This is not what you should be experiencing. You deserve better, you need better, and in this video today we're going to be talking about why men often show up this way, how it is affecting you, and what you can do about it if you happen to have experienced this before, or you're experiencing it currently with a man. Before we get into it, I'm going to introduce myself. Hello, my name is Zach Rohde. I'm here to lead you into creating the relationship of your dreams, using your feminine energy and what I call feminine communication to inspire a man into cherishing you. If you have not yet subscribed to this channel, make sure you do that below. Hit the notification bell and be sure to like this video because I'm going to make sure it is a very good one for you today. So this is something, before we get into the nitty-gritty of this is something that I have certainly done with my wife as well. I'm not proud of it. I'm not proud of any of the crappy things that I've done as a husband. And I've also done it on dates, prior to meeting my wife as well. So I'm very aware of why it happens. And part of it has to do with me, or in the case of other men, it has to do with them. And then there's another part of it that has to do with the woman and how she is showing up. And that second part is actually a great thing because that is something that you can change. That is something that you can decide for yourself to shift, which there's a very good chance that it will shift the man as well, even if he's got his own stuff going on. So I would often do this with my wife, and there's two. So let's talk about each. Like, what's the stuff that has to do with me? Well, when I'm stressed out, when I'm really busy, when I'm focused on my business, when things are not going very well in some kind of way, I got a lot on my mind. I'm unable to just relax and be, or it's much harder, I shouldn't say unable. It's much harder for me to relax and just be in the present moment with somebody that I love, which in this case would be my wife. And so if you have a man or have had a man who has a stressful job or is just stuck in his life in some kind of way, a lot of the time he is absolutely going to be more distracted from you. And that sucks because that doesn't have anything to do with you, and it sucks that you're being essentially punished for that. The second part of why I would show up in this way absolutely did have to do with her. And it still does on occasion, except that now I'm doing something to actively shift it in the moment. So the second part is the way that she is showing up. When a woman, there's a few possibilities here, and we'll go through them all. When a woman is energetically leading a conversation in some way, she is not opening herself up for the man, her man, to determine the flow of the conversation and where it goes. She's going to be energetically leading, and a man is wired to resist a woman who is leading. Unconsciously. He's not necessarily going to say, hey, like, stop, leading this conversation. He's probably not going to. However, he might get irritated in some way, or he might get distracted in some kind of way. And this is him unconsciously, without his awareness, trying to resist being led. It's like he's being led in the moment, so he will take his attention out of the moment and put it elsewhere. So, for example, if you tend to be the type of woman who over-explains, it's like you're sharing something and you just keep going on with it. If you tend to speak in monologues, long speeches, if you tend to speak more than like 20 seconds without pausing and letting the man say something, then you're definitely leading the conversation. If you are veering things off topic from what he is trying to share or bring up or lead you into or ask about, you are definitely leading the conversation. If you are even energetically, like even if you are pausing, if you're waiting and everything, but your energy is more penetrative, What do I mean by that? There's two types of energy. You can only be in one or the other. Either you're being penetrative or you're being open and vulnerable. The feminine women, the feminine which women are supposed to be embodying, they should be in a vulnerable, receptive, open energy. Men should be in a penetrative energy. So like right now, what you should be feeling from me is a penetrative energy. You can feel that energetic penetration. If you've ever felt, I mean, I don't know where you are at in your feminine journey, but if you've ever felt that really just open, soft energy from a woman where she's not leading in any kind of way, well, that's going to be a receptive, vulnerable, feminine energy. So a lot of women today, a lot of women are in a more penetrative energy, and it's because of wounding. It's because of trauma that you experienced in childhood. It's because of experiences where you were not heard. For example, like there's actually many possibilities, but one of them is if you're not heard as a child, you will learn to be more penetrative to try to get heard. So you're actually trying to get an outcome of being heard. You're trying to be more forceful in some kind of way. You also might be more penetrative because you're guarding your heart. The more guarded your heart is, the less you're wearing your heart on your sleeve, the more that you are going to be in that penetrative energy. And so men don't respond well to that. The only time a man would respond well to that is if he is really in his feminine energy, if his masculine instinct is not online. But the more that his instinct is online, the more irritating that energy is going to be, and the more that he needs to escape the present moment to tune out from that because he doesn't want to be penetrated by it. He doesn't want to be led by it. And he will get distracted by his phone, by things that he has to do. And then when you're talking to him, you will feel like you're perceptive enough to know this. You're absolutely noticing this, and I might be making you more aware of it and how much of a problem it is, but you definitely notice this, where he's not fully with you. He might even be responding to you, and I've noticed this with my wife as well, where I will be responding to her, but I'm not fully there with her in the moment. I'm not fully taking everything that she is saying in. And so when I realized this, that I was doing this, of course I realized this is a problem. I don't want to be doing this. And I realized this before I learned anything about polarity, anything about masculine energy, feminine energy, our instincts, anything. And I didn't really have a solution for it. It's just like, I'll try to be more present. And of course that is a solution. A man should actively try to be more present. What I am describing, it's not like a man is powerless to be in the present moment with a woman when she's energetically leading, right? When she's energetically penetrating. I'm not saying like, oh, because you're leading, a man can't be in the present moment with you. It's all your fault. No, it's still his responsibility to proactively choose to be in the present moment with you, but it does make it much harder when you are in that energy in some kind of way. It is also his responsibility to let you know what you are doing lovingly. It's like, hey, sweetheart, I can feel some penetrative energy from you. Tell me what you're feeling right now, and help her soften, help her open. So this is one of the things that I will do for my wife when I notice that she is in that energy. And typically she will get in that energy when she is stressed. This is where it gets really interesting. So if a woman is stressed in some way, if she is feeling anxious, and women tend to feel anxious a lot, or if she is feeling unheard, or if she has any kind of resentment in any kind of way, it's going to pull her out of the present moment and into an energy of trying to force, trying to lead, or trying to dump. Like that's another reason that men will try to escape the present moment with a woman, is because she is dumping her stuff onto him, dumping her emotions, venting. So that's actually really, let's go talk about venting. So whenever a woman is venting in any kind of way, and it doesn't have to be really aggressive, really, really intense, it can be much more subtle, just like this very subtle kind of complainy energy. A man's going to want to escape the present moment, and he's going to get distracted. So all of this is about trying to escape discomfort. This is what men are trying to escape from, is the present moment, because it is uncomfortable in some kind of way. And there are things that you are doing, like just to summarize, there's things that you are doing to make the present moment uncomfortable for him. Now, I've already kind of mentioned that this isn't just fully you. This is his stuff as well. Another reason that a man might be avoiding the present moment is because of his own emotions that are too uncomfortable in some kind of way that he doesn't know how to deal with. So I don't want you to leave this video thinking, hey, this is all because of you. This is all your fault. I'm just blaming you. It's not the case at all. But what I do want you to do is leave this video understanding, yes, there's definitely things that you're doing that may be strongly influencing him out of the present moment so that he is disconnected from you in some kind of way. Because if you don't see yourself, if you don't see that you are doing these things, you'll just continue to do it over and over again. And that's no way to live. Because you're just going to, what's going to happen, the more that happens, the lower your feminine self-worth is going to be. Because what he is doing unconsciously is giving you the message, you are not worthy of me being in the moment with you. You're not worthy of it. You don't deserve it. And so you start to increasingly feel bad in some kind of way. You're not feeling his heart connection to you. And then it compels you, the more that he's out of the moment with you over time, the more that it is compelling you into various control patterns to reestablish that heart connection with him. And unfortunately, nothing that you do from that energy is going to work because it's all control energy. It's all leading energy. And what are men doing when they sense that energy in the present moment? Well, they try to escape the present moment. The only thing that you can do is learn how to get into your feminine energy, get vulnerable. And we're going to be talking about that. By the way, if you are liking this video so far, make sure you give it a like. Make sure you give it subscribe to my channel because I got a whole bunch more just like this for you. Okay, so this is something that will come up on my discovery calls that I do with women. So I've done well over 1,000 of these calls where I'm speaking one-on-one with a woman. This is my opportunity to really connect with a woman and find out what she's dealing with in her love life, what problems she's experiencing, why she's stuck, why a man is being really distracted around her, why she's not able to date masculine men in the first place, why she's not attracting them, why she pushes them away, why she has all this anxious attachment going on. So we talk about all this, and then I give the woman feedback about exactly what she needs to do to shift it. And then, of course, if we decide that working with me in our academy program is the right step for her to shift this, then we talk all about that. But the first 30 minutes of the call, it's all about unpacking exactly what she's experiencing and why she's experiencing it, and then talk about it. And one of the other things that I am doing on these calls is I am paying attention. This is super important and it's super valuable for you. I'm paying attention to how I feel as a man. How connected do I feel to you in this moment? And there is a range, a very wide range actually, of how connected I can feel. So with some women, I feel extremely connected. Like they've got a really soft, feminine, open, vulnerable energy. And if I feel that from them, then I almost definitely the deeper problem of what's going on in their love life is they have really low self-worth. So it's like they can be in feminine energy a lot of the time, but then there's going to be her lack of self-worth would be compelling her into different behaviors, different things that she's doing, different communication where she's pushing the man away. That's the only reason, because her energy with me is really feminine. So it's a self-worth problem that's sabotaging her. On the other side of the spectrum would be women who are very much in their masculine energy, very penetrative, just very penetrative, and I don't feel a heart connection to them. So I'll have to let them know that's what's going on, because that's going to be a big part of why they are not attracting the right kind of men if they're single, or why they're with a man that's not properly taking care of them, not cherishing them, because that's going to pull men way out of the present moment. Now with me, I'm able to stay present, but it takes more energy for me to do that, right? Like it's my job. It's my job to be connected to them and to help them. But if I were to be in a relationship with a woman like that, then I know it would be increasingly difficult over time to maintain that level of presence. It's just too challenging. And then there's other things that women will do on these calls. So over-explaining is a really common one. I already mentioned that. Just speaking in monologues, just going on, not really allowing herself to be led. And I mentioned earlier, this is typically coming from anxiety, right? It's anxiety of making sure that she's being seen, that she's not going to be judged a certain way or misjudged because she's not giving me all the information, or she's just doesn't feel fully comfortable being led in some kind of way. And so I let women know that as well. I let women know all of this. So that's extremely helpful for women to be able to get that reflection and understand what's going on. And all of that has to do with control patterns, because I can basically guarantee, just from speaking to a woman for 30 minutes, I will have a general idea of how much a man might be tuning her out, might be getting distracted by things, not really taking her seriously, not being able to be in the present moment with her because of the energy that I am feeling from her. And I can also, as a general assumption, I can assume if there is some issue when speaking with me, it's going to be much, much worse in a relationship. Because at least with me, I'm relatively quite masculine. I'm leading the entire call. I create a lot of emotional safety for a woman. So if a woman doesn't have that with a man, she's going to be compelled much more into those control patterns. That's what's going on. It's your control patterns that are pushing men out of the present moment with you. That can be an uncomfortable truth to realize, but here's the nicer part about this. It's not you, okay? It's not you in the sense that like you are inherently unworthy or unattractive. You're not, there's nothing inherently wrong with you. If you internalize the message that men are giving you when they get out of the present moment with you, you're gonna beat yourself up. It's like, oh, there's something wrong with me. I'm broken. I'm too much. Why don't men really just want to fully be with me? Why do they get distracted all the time? I don't want that to be your message anymore. It's important for you to understand that it's not inherently you. It's just inherently your control patterns that you have learned to operate from to stay safe and to get your needs met. It's just that these control patterns do not work very well to attract and inspire men. Inspiration, the inspiration that a masculine man feels, all comes from your energy, from your feminine energy. And your feminine energy, it is only possible to be in when you are fully letting go of control. Letting go of control of like trying to lead a conversation, but also control of trying to guard your heart in some way, or control of protecting yourself from even feeling your feelings, right? So some women are dissociated, they're not really connected, they're up here in some kind of way. So there's a lot of these control patterns that are always operating that are blocking that devotion, that inspiration of a man to serve you, to be in the present moment with you. And that's causing that message that, like, when they don't show up for you in the way that you need, they're giving you the message that, oh, you're not worthy. That's the message you receive, but that's not actually what's happening. The real you is always worthy. The real you is always beautiful. The real you is always attractive. It's that you are covering up the real you with these patterns so that a man cannot actually feel the real you, can't be inspired by the real you. So the rejection that you are experiencing, either because a man dumps you, abandons you, cheats on you, or just isn't in the present moment with you, whatever, that's all forms of rejection. Whatever rejection you're experiencing, understand the real you is not being rejected, because you don't actually know how to operate as the real you most of the time, or maybe even all of the time. What you might think anyway, as the real you is actually control patterns. Like if you think that you speaking in a 1-minute monologue, it's like, I just talk a lot, that's just who I am. No, that's not the real you. That's a control pattern. If you just happen to be very penetrative and in judgment and, disconnected from your feelings, you say like, this is just who I am. This is just the real me. No, this is your trauma. This is 100% just your trauma that is covering up the real beautiful you. And this is what I'm hoping, one of the things, like in my academy program, we help you like to a huge extent, really uncovering this and creating the safety for you to really open to that real you. But this process starts just being on my calls, because, okay, here's what I'll say. You can shift this on your own. theoretically, without any kind of support. It's just incredibly difficult to do it because women are wired to heal through being supported by the masculine. And that's what my team and I are ultimately doing for you. We are being the masculine and giving you that support. And one form of that support is safety, right? When you feel like when you're on a call with me and you feel like this, oh, he's totally non-judgmental. I could make mistakes and he's still going to love me. He's still going to, I'm not going to push him away. That helps your system relax so that you can shift out of those control patterns and really just be who you are. And then in addition to that, because I'm giving you feedback where it's like, hey, did you notice that you just spent 2 minutes talking and I just asked one question that wasn't even related to what you shared? It's like, oh yeah, I did. I was doing that. Oh, okay. Tell me why you were doing that. What was going on there? Tell me, were you feeling any fear when you were doing that? And now that is pointed out, you become more aware of that, but it's being pointed out in a way where I'm not criticizing you or attacking you, being reactive with you. So it becomes much easier for you to just let that go and know you are safe without having to over-explain things all the time. And that's true for all of the things that I point out on these calls. So now you're able to relax, your system relaxes, you're much more open, and then you start being more of the real you, which can actually feel very uncomfortable for many women because most women are operating with so many guards, so many of these control patterns protecting themselves that they don't fully just let all of that go very often. They're so terrified of that real self being rejected in some kind of way or being hurt, being stabbed with criticism, with reactivity from a man. So you're protecting it and you're co-creating these situations over and over again. So when you get that safety and you get that support and you get that direction, you also get those boundaries, you can start to let that go, feel who you really are and be like, wow, I could just fully be this real self all the time. Yeah, because that's how a man's going to be the most connected to you. And by the way, and I'm going to talk more about this and what you can do to shift this even on your own. But if you are interested in speaking with me, where we will unpack all of this together, I will give you this feedback. And yes, we will also find out if our program is right for you, where we can help you, give you the kind of shifts that I expect from my Academy students. Make sure you go below this video, open up the description, click on relationshipyourdreams.com. Watch that video on that page. It's a really great video, really inspiring video, and then book a call with me below that video. And then we'll get on a call and talk all about this. Because you can shift this and you're going to shift so much faster and so much easier when you actually have the support to do it. When you actually have the care, like you can feel that care and you're not on your own. You don't have to be on your own. Trying to do things on your own, also, just so you know, it's also a control pattern. If you have been indoctrinated into believing that, and being independent, like, oh, I'm really independent, I'm really capable. Yeah, you might be, but you're not supposed to be. Yes, you can succeed in life and get through life being independent and hyper capable on your own, but you were never supposed to get through life that way. You were supposed to get through life with masculine support. And if you don't know how to inspire it to make your life really easy and straightforward, then hire it. Hire that masculine support so that we can show you how to do that. Because we will know, our instinct knows when you are pushing away that support, that inspiration from men, and we will show you exactly how to shift it. Okay, so with that said, hopefully I would love to speak with you on a call, but you might also not be ready for that, and you might want to start shifting that right away or go experiment with shifting it. So here's a few things that you can do. First, you need to really start getting aware when you are interacting with a man of how you are feeling. If you are feeling any anxiety at all when interacting with a man, with your man, with a date, you are probably going to be in a more penetrative energy, a leading energy, disconnected from your heart, more guarded in some kind of way. And if you are, then you're not going to be inspiring and you're probably going to be compelling him, pushing him out of the moment in some way. That doesn't mean that he will be out of the moment, because it depends on his own ability to be attentive and various other things, right? His own choice to be in the moment. But I'm saying it makes it harder for him to be in the moment. And the more that you do it, especially as you get into a relationship, the harder it's going to be for him to stay in the moment. That's why, like, early on in dates, hopefully early on in dates, you're not experiencing this problem. He's not like, a man's just not really distracted on his phone. But later on in a relationship, especially after you've, had fun in the bedroom and all of that stuff, and he's not as present, he's not as focused on getting something, going in the bedroom with you, it then becomes harder for him to be present in the moment. That's just the way that men are wired. Just understand that and accept that. And that's where a lot of these problems will end up coming out, is later on in relationships. So you need to be aware that you are doing this, that you're feeling anxious. And the first thing you should be doing is addressing that anxiety. If you try to, and this comes back to being hyper independent, like, I'm just going to figure it all on my own. If you are not opening yourself up to his support by asking him for help with your anxiety, may I please have some help? I'm feeling some anxiety. Then you are still in that masculine energy trying to solve things yourself instead of trying to open so that you can access your feminine energy and receive his support, receive his care. That's when you're going to start a conversation about exactly what you're experiencing, why you're experiencing it. And you'll notice if he's able to lead you through the feelings in some way, or give you reassurance, or give you whatever it is that you need so that you don't feel anxiety anymore, it's going to be much easier to shift out of whatever it is that you typically do that compels him out of the moment. You see how that works? So that's why one of the things that I do on my calls when I speak to a woman is I tell them right from the beginning, well, actually I ask right from the beginning, tell me what you're feeling. Do you feel any anxiety being on this call with me? And then let's talk about it right away. Probably 75% of women say that they do. So we talk all about that. I give her some reassurance, some help, some clarity on things so that she can relax more, and so that we can just have a really good time. And then one of the other things that I tell them is, if you're feeling any fear on this call, you tell me. You ask me for help. May I please have some help with what I'm feeling? May I have some help with my anxiety? Because otherwise she'll be compelled more into that control pattern. And then what I also do is, if I notice that she's feeling anxiety, I will point that out. Tell me what you're feeling. Are you feeling some anxiety? Oh, you are. Okay, let's talk about that. What are you feeling anxious of? Oh, you're feeling anxious that I might be judging you or perceiving you a certain way, or that you're making all these mistakes or whatever. Great, we talk about it. That's what ideally a man should be doing for you, starting on a first date, actually even before a first date, all the way into marriage and after marriage, all the way until one of you dies. That's how you should be led. And if you're not being led that way, well, first, give yourself some grace. The fact that you have gone through life and gone through your relationship or past relationships, dating experiences, and you didn't have a man leading you with that level of care. Well, of course it's hard for you to fully shift what you need to shift. Of course it is. So give yourself some grace for that you have not had the support from a man, from men, probably from your parents, from your father, from your mother, from your teachers. You haven't had the emotional support, the direction, the love, the acceptance, space held for your feelings in the way that you have needed. And so of course you haven't been able to make all the shifts that you need to make. And of course you probably haven't even known what all the shifts that you need to make are, because it's not being lovingly pointed out to you. And none of that is your fault. None of it is your fault at all. It is your responsibility now, though, now that you are aware of what's going on, it is your responsibility to shift it. And that starts with feminine communication. It starts with being brave, courageous, sharing what's coming up for you with men, with a man. Whenever you're feeling anxious, and not just anxious, but anything else too. Like if you're feeling a lot of anger, here's the other part to this. If you're feeling anger, resentment, whatever, everything that you say is going to be laced with that. And a man's going to want to escape from the present moment. He doesn't want anything to do with that, okay? It's not that he has a problem with your feelings. He just doesn't want to be penetrated with your feelings. That does not feel good. Just like I'm sure you wouldn't want to feel penetrated by him when he's in his feelings and he's angry at you. That feels terrible. That actually feels worse for a woman than it does for a man, because there's the safety aspect of it as well. And so make sure that you're asking for help if you're feeling anger, irritation, resentment. Any of that needs to be addressed so that you can get to a place of feeling good, so that you're not energetically penetrating. You also need to ask for help with how you're showing up, how you're communicating. Ask if you're communicating disrespectfully. Get clarity on that. Start treating a man like your coach, so that you can inspire him to start stepping up and also start seeing himself, start being a better man for you, being more present with you, but also helping you shift whatever needs to shift, so that you can fully be in your feminine energy and just naturally inspire him and invite him into being in the present moment with you. Because it feels so good for a man to be in the present moment with a feminine woman who's speaking using her feminine energy, who's embodying that feminine energy. That's how you shift that. And of course, if you want help shifting that way faster and getting all the feedback that you need to shift it, all the support, all the boundaries, all the expectations, all the direction, make this as easy as possible, not to mention all the love, then make sure you book a call with me and we'll find out if the academy is right for you, and we'll have a really good conversation finding out about what's going on, what you're doing to push away men. I'll give you some feedback on exactly how to shift that in your specific situation, and it's just going to make your life much easier. So again, way to do that, below this video, open up the description, relationshipyourdreams.com, watch the video, book the call. I'll see you there, and we'll have a great time. That's it for this one.